The economic and strategic relationship between India and Bangladesh is not just rooted in history and geography, it's a living, evolving partnership that touches the lives of millions on both sides of the border. This connection is a classic example of how neighboring countries can create value for each other, not merely as trading partners, but as collaborators in development, health, security, and culture. To understand the depth of this relationship, let's begin with the economic ties that bind these two South Asian neighbors. Bangladesh is India's largest trading partner in South Asia, and India ranks among the top sources of imports for Bangladesh. For India, Bangladesh is a critical export destination, especially for goods like cotton, yarn, agricultural products, pharmaceuticals, steel, and machinery. Take cotton, for instance. A significant percentage of India's cotton yarn output finds its way to Bangladesh's burgeoning garment industry, a sector that employs millions and serves as the backbone of Bangladesh's economy. By supplying affordable, quality raw materials, India plays a role in Bangladesh's export-oriented textile success, which in turn brings foreign exchange and jobs to Bangladesh. But the relationship is not one-sided. Bangladesh offers India unique opportunities as well. Every year, thousands of Bangladeshis cross the border into India, not just for leisure, but for medical treatment, higher education, and business. Medical tourism is a particularly strong sector. With India's world-class hospitals and relatively lower costs, many Bangladeshis opt for life-saving treatments that may not be easily available or affordable at home. This influx doesn't just benefit Indian hospitals. It supports local economies, creates jobs, and brings in valuable foreign exchange. Education is another area of synergy. Indian universities and colleges attract a growing number of Bangladeshi students who seek quality education in medicine, engineering, and the humanities. These students return home with degrees and skills that can contribute to Bangladesh's national development. Meanwhile, Indian institutions gain from the internationalization of their campuses and the fostered goodwill. The movement of people isn't one-directional. Indian professionals, engineers, IT experts, consultants work in Bangladesh, particularly in sectors like construction, infrastructure, and services. They send remittances back home, supporting families and contributing to India's economy. Such exchanges deepen the human connections that underpin bilateral relations. Energy cooperation is another critical pillar. Bangladesh imports over 600 megawatts of electricity from India, helping to bridge its domestic energy gap. Joint ventures in power generation, such as coal-based plants and cross-border grid interconnections, underscore the level of trust and shared vision in the relationship. Reliable energy supplies from India support Bangladesh's industrial growth, lighten the homes of millions, and contribute to overall economic stability. Trade access and transit rights are equally significant. Bangladesh benefits from access to the vast Indian market for its exports, as well as the use of Indian territory to trade with Nepal, Bhutan, and other northeastern regions. This transit saves time and money, making Bangladeshi goods more competitive and facilitating regional integration. However, the landscape is changing. Bangladesh is actively seeking to diversify its trade relationships, forging closer economic ties with the United States, China, and Turkey. Efforts to boost self-reliance in agriculture and livestock are driven by national priorities and lessons from past disruptions. At the same time, political developments, such as the National Register of Citizens, NRC, in India and periodic border tensions, can inject uncertainty and affect the sentiment on both sides. What happens if this interdependence falters? If Bangladesh shifts its cotton imports from India to the United States or stops importing cattle altogether, the effects will be felt on both sides. India would lose a substantial export market for its agricultural produce and cotton, impacting farmers, traders, and industries that depend on cross-border commerce. Medical tourism would take a hit, with hospitals and service providers losing revenue from thousands of Bangladeshi patients. Remittances from Indian professionals working in Bangladesh would decline, affecting family incomes and local economies in India. Bangladesh, on the other hand, would face its own set of challenges. Sourcing cotton from the United States or other distant suppliers, could raise costs for its textile industry, making its exports less competitive. The absence of Indian agricultural imports might lead to price spikes and supply shortages, especially during times of crisis. Seeking medical treatment further abroad, in places like Thailand or Singapore, would increase costs and limit access for ordinary Bangladeshis. The loss of skilled Indian professionals could create gaps in sectors where local expertise is still developing. And most critically, a reduction in electricity imports from India could lead to energy shortages, hampering industrial growth and affecting everyday life. In the short term, it may appear that India stands to lose more, given the scale of its exports and its dependence on sectors like cotton, agriculture, and medical tourism. But Bangladesh, with its smaller economy and greater reliance on affordable imports and energy supplies, might suffer more severe long-term consequences. Supply chain disruptions, increased costs, and reduced competitiveness could slow the pace of its remarkable economic growth. Yet, amid these complexities, the underlying truth is clear. The relationship between India and Bangladesh is much more than a ledger of exports and imports. It's a partnership built on shared rivers, languages, histories, and aspirations. Border communities depend on each other for their livelihoods. Families are often spread across both countries. The challenges of climate change, river management, and regional security transcend borders and require collaborative solutions. A stable and mutually respectful relationship is not just desirable, it's essential. Both countries have much to gain from deepening cooperation, whether it's through greater trade, smoother transit arrangements, joint ventures in energy, or people-to-people exchanges in health and education. When ties are strong, both economies grow, and the region moves closer to its full potential. Of course, challenges remain. Political sensitivities, border management, and occasional friction can strain trust. The solution, however, lies in dialogue, transparency, and a recognition of shared interests. By focusing on complementarities, where one country's strength meets the other's need, India and Bangladesh can create new opportunities for trade, investment, and innovation. Looking ahead, the world is entering an era defined by shifting supply chains, digital revolutions, and a renewed focus on resilience. India and Bangladesh are well placed to benefit from these trends if they work together. Joint investments in infrastructure, technology, and education can drive growth and create new jobs. Regional integration, including with Nepal, Bhutan, and Southeast Asia, can open up vast new markets and enhance connectivity. Ultimately, the India-Bangladesh economic relationship is a testament to the power of interdependence. When two nations recognize that their destinies are intertwined, they can move beyond old rivalries and competition to build a partnership that is greater than the sum of its parts. It is not just about who gains or loses more in the event of a rupture. It is about realizing that cooperation creates a rising tide that lifts all boats. The best path forward is clear: foster trust, seek win-win solutions, and invest in the people and sectors that matter most. By doing so, India and Bangladesh can ensure prosperity, stability, and progress for generations to come.